My Lords, I begin by thanking Baroness Burt for her bill, and I'm grateful for the noble Baroness engaging with the complexity of drafting legislation to prevent conversion therapy or practices. With the variety of views there clearly are in this chamber and in wider society, I declare interest. Until December, I was one of the bishops leading on safeguarding in the Church of England, and I am still co-chair of the APPG on safeguarding in faith communities. I have been aware for many years in pastoral ministry of some horrific practices, from physical punishment to counselling and prayer techniques akin to interrogation to, at worst, supposedly curative rape. These practices used against those in faith communities who are regarded as deviating from the community's norms for sexuality and gender identity. These more or less hidden practices must be prevented by statutory provision if they're not already, and I do think we should note those who are victims should be much better supported. I'm also aware of the much more subtle impact on LGBTIQ people of faith, the pressure on them to conform to the norms set by the hierarchy of their faith community. The cultures which pervade many faith communities render those exploring their identity very vulnerable indeed to abuse, as the ICSA report reminded us. I am relieved that the Church of England is at last owning its homophobia and making some moves to change its culture and practice. Personally, I wish it would change much faster and further. But I'm also aware that in my diocese there are very different perspectives in the ongoing debate, and I'm profoundly grateful to the noble Lord Paddock for setting out some of the issues as it affected his own life. In my diocese, the organisation Living Out supports LGBTQI adults who, exercising agency and autonomy and inspired by their interpretation of Christian faith, seek counselling to support celibate lives or marry someone of the opposite sex. I know too how hard it is to write into guidance or regulation definitions which help rather than harm. The Church of England has wrestled for some years to define spiritual abuse. We've begun to recognise its presence and impact, but are not consistently agreed on its definition or how any definition should be applied in disciplinary process. I'm therefore not yet convinced that the text of this bill and its lack of agreed definition will give Living Out, for example, the safe space its members need. But I do believe that we need to keep working at this, and I am grateful to the determined efforts of Baroness Burt in the absence of a government proposal. The Bishop of London, who is unable to be present today, and I would want to continue to work to find agreed definitions which protect from harm whilst continuing to preserve our current liberties.